Hi everyone, it's Maddie from The Tweaks, and this is part 2 of my Supernatural interviews from San Diego Comic-Con 2017. The first part of the interviews can be found on our YouTube channel, which you can click below to look at, and on ComicMix.com. And the first part was with Jared Padalecki, Misha Collins, and Jensen Ackles. So, this interview is with the show's showrunners, Andrew Dabb and Robert Singer, and we talked about crossover episodes, the new spin-off show, and just everything that's coming up in the next season. Now, let's watch the interviews.
You. Who's dealing?
Well, I think in general, if last season was about, bringing family together and, and Sam and Dean really in lockstep and Mom coming back and all that was kind of about family coming together. This season starts off with, thank you so much, really the family torn apart and how the guys deal with that, what their feelings are about what's gone on with Mom, where is she alive, is she not alive, and sort of a new element to the family is Jack, Lucifer's kid, who is Dean is the sort of taskmaster dad, Sam is more Mom. So we're going to deal with all those sort of familial things first. This season a little more intimate, I think, is we don't have British men of letters and big blow-ups and things like that. So I think it's a little more character-driven and a lot of emotion. We'll be in the real world quite a bit more than the apocalyptic world. If Sam and Dean could get through to the apocalyptic world really fast, then we're not playing as much story as we should. But we will certainly visit apocalyptic world and meet some characters that some are new, some may be people that we've known in our world, but they're different in this world. People ask about Charlie all the time. Felicia is always really busy, so getting Felicia is not the easiest thing in the world. But I know if we upset the fans badly with any one thing we did, that was it. But, we love Felicia, and if it's possible to bring her back, we probably would. We have one, yeah. It's we're doing a crossover with Arrow, no. Flash, no. Oh, I remember what it is. It's Scooby Doo, yes. And yeah, so the boys are going to be animated, and it's we've done the recordings of the voices. We've seen the animatic on the cartoon, and I mean, I'm not a cartoon guy, but I'm having so much fun with this. It's fantastic, and to see them interacting with the Scooby Gang is just it's great. So that's our big swing this year. 16. We needed. This thing I think started. We started talking about it last January, and it takes that long. The script came in very quickly, but it takes that long just to get the voices recorded and then to get it animated. So we probably won't get the final animation until the beginning of next year. So. I'm not sure what you already know, but we know the characters. We know Jodie. We know the two daughters, Alex, and their name is escaping me, which is really embarrassing. We'll be adding another character who is about the same age, maybe a tad younger than the other girls, and she is a psychic. We've cast her. We just got word today that the deal closed. Her name is Clark Bacco, B-A-K-O. She's from Toronto. Really talented young woman. Jodie is one of the fan favorites, and they're always saying, you should do a spin-off. Well, who are we going to spin off? And I think the fans love Jodie enough that that's a good kind of solid tentpole. I've heard the story from Andrew and Bob Behrens. Sounds awfully good to me. We're shooting at episode 9 and 10, and and there'll be. I think the only difference in that show, that won't be a road show like Supernatural is. That'll sort of focus itself more in one spot, and it's a little bit of a Hellmouth opens, that kind of thing. Nah, we haven't even begun to cast guest star parts in it yet. You know, we don't even have it written yet. So,
Hey, everybody. To me, what makes a good episode makes a good season, and ultimately that's asking a question. If we did blank, whatever the blank is, to Sam and Dean, how would it affect them? And on an episodic basis, like, okay, if we took away Dean's memory, right? If we did something along those lines, how would it affect him? On a larger season arc, if Mom came back, now that they're both in their 30s, now that they're both fully grown adults, how would that affect them this season? If Sam and Dean find themselves through hook and crook, the stewards of a kid that could save the world or destroy it, but essentially being parents, I mean, because that's what it boils down to, strip away all the genre stuff, that's the story we're telling. How does that affect them? And I think that's what makes the strongest stories, is when you can take a very big thing, whether it's the apocalypse or the apocalypse number 2 or number 3, and we're on like number 6, and boil it down to a question you're asking about our guys and our core characters. So what is that? I mean, Sam, Dean, and Castiel. Yeah. You know what? I think, we are very hopeful the show will go beyond this season. So we're certainly not planning this season as like, this is it. It may end up being. You never know in television. That's the way it goes. But we're not planning this as like an end run. In terms of this season, I think we have an extremely, in terms of signposts, milestones, I think we understand what the season is going to be. In terms of more specific thoughts, we're through about half the season. I mean, I think what made Supernatural a success from day one makes it a success from day 1,984. And that is these two characters, these three characters, and the bond that they share. And what's been really awesome for us is that having Netflix and things like that, we were just down in the autograph line and a girl comes through, she's 12 years old, but she's watched every episode because her mom got her into it, exactly like what you're saying. So it's a matter of, that's what makes it appealing. And then it's a matter of having a show that is very accessible. Because, when I started on Supernatural, so I joined in season 4, like the only way to get it was go out to spend $150 on DVD sets. And now your Netflix subscription, it's all there. And not only that, you get it, you watch the first episode, you go online, you go on Twitter and Tumblr and whatever, and you type in Supernatural, and there's a whole community waiting for you. And that community can be fractious at times, but ultimately I think it's an extremely strong and extremely positive thing. And so it builds on itself. And every show over time suffers from attrition. People fall in, people fall out. The great thing that we have done and that Netflix and streaming has allowed us to do is that as people fall out, new people kind of discover the show and come in. Some people come in, they'll binge the whole thing, they'll watch a few live episodes, and they're like, I like binging better, and they'll go off and they'll just wait for the new season to come up. That's completely fine. And it allows people to consume the show in their own way, which I think, again, broadens the audience base. I would say that there is something in episode 4 that I'm extremely excited about, and I think the fans will be very excited about as well. And then, coming in the second half of the season, but we've done it already, the animated episode I think people will be very excited about. And then obviously episode 10, the spin-off, I very much hope people will be really excited about. So I think we've got a lot of really cool stuff in the wings this year. I don't know that it will be this season. I hope that before the show ends, we can make that work. I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's like an awesome actor, and we would love to have him back. He's a little busy. but we would love to make something like that work. And it feels like as the story winds down, whenever that is, and again, I don't know that's going to be this season. I hope not. I think there are more stories to tell. That is a loophole that needs to be closed. I think the core difference between the two of them is that Amara came back with an extremely specific agenda. She was not new to this world. I mean, she was new to the world, but she was this ancient entity. She's like, I'm back. I want to find and kill God. Like, she had a very strong through line throughout the entire thing. I think Jack is much more a blank slate. And I think Jack is someone who, you couldn't talk Amara into anything. She, Crowley tried to raise her, but it didn't work because she was her own person. Jack is someone who the boys can influence. And I think that can be good and that can be bad. Because Sam and Dean are great heroes and they have a lot of very positive qualities, but they have qualities that maybe aren't so positive too. And like any parent, you know what I mean? You hope your kid gets the best of you, and sometimes they do, but we all have our little tics and things like that, and sometimes they get those things too. So it's about kind of making this much more key on the guys, whereas Amara's story happened to a large extent parallel to the guys. Yes, Arrow's been a big thing going on. I think we're doing the Scooby Doo crossover. I think that would be awesome. I think Sam Dean and the Impala in an episode of Wacky Races would be great. I think bringing another show. There's always a way to do it. There's always a way to make it happen. But there are certain shows that I don't think would organically cross with Supernatural, and there are other shows where if you brought them into the Supernatural universe, if Supernatural crossover with Vampire Diaries, for example, like they just kill everybody. You know what I mean? Like it's one show has to end. One way, I don't know which one, but one has to end because they're not leaving. So I think for us, the more esoteric and weirder and more fun, the better. I think introducing superheroes into the world of Sam and Dean is really difficult. I know there's a way to do it, and we've talked internally about a way to do it that I think aligns that. But if you're talking about like a straight crossover where like they just drive into Arrowtown, I don't know the same city. I think that's hard to pull off, but there are ways to make things like that happen. And luckily, in the world of alternate universes, you never know.
Thank you guys for watching our video. You can subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Periscope, add us on Snapchat, and like us on Facebook. And check back every Thursday on ComicMix.com for new videos. Bye!